Hello, I'm Pablo Ral, ski mountaineering coach, and welcome to the Global Skimo YouTube channel. I bring you a very curious video for those of you who are geeks about gear. I hope you enjoy learning about all the features, all the innovations, and I'm here to introduce all the technology, all those patents that have the ATK bindings, those little details that looking to make it easier to use. To enhance the performance, or rather to improve the specs, I've chosen only these two models to explain it, since there's the Freerider 14, which includes all the technologies and patents that ATK holds, except for one that it does include this Revolution. I'm going to refer to the technical names and how each binding patent is called, so that when you look for an ATK binding and know how to recognize and understand what it's talking about when they mention those features or those systems with such sophisticated names. I'm gonna start with the system that comes with the Revolution binding, and this is how we take it out of the way. It includes more technology, but I'll explain that on this other model. And the system that makes the difference is that in this back piece that comes with the clamp where the boot hooks, it includes some small cylindrical steel bolts, which means that although the U is made of ultralight and very resistant titanium, in those areas of friction, of maximum wear, like how it sounds when metal touches metal, they've come up with this system called rolling in system, with which when you try to put the boot on, it no longer fits due to pressure and friction. Broken wheels and ensures the heel of the boot fits well. This greatly extends the life of our binding because an area with so much wear, I'm sure everyone has experienced getting nicks there and having to eventually change the U because it loses safety. And another typical problem is when the boot goes in, especially in soft snow. Well, that roll-in system makes it easier for the boot to fit into the binding without having to keep stomping until it finally goes in. Once we have explained this first system, the ATK Revolution, we take them out of the picture and focus on the rest of the technologies it groups. This is Freerider 14, which we will also find in other bindings from this brand, ATK. I will start with a topic that I find very important, especially for those who want greater safety on the descent and better performance as well. This system is called the elastic response system, and this is a spring which allows some mobility when the ski flexes so much in big jumps, like when going downhill and putting a lot of pressure on the ski, really pushing it to its limits. The ski flexes, but despite that flex, the distance between the toe piece and heel piece doesn't shorten, which is what would happen if it were completely rigid and static. When the ski flexes, that distance would shorten and the boot would be under a lot of pressure. And for example, in case of a fall and having to jump with all that tension, once the boot is applied, it won't pop off in any case. So this elastic response system maintains the distance between points and heel lock, making the skate much safer and also reducing pressure, so large that these points have to withstand, and therefore extends the life of our binding and prevents it from breaking due to strong forces. The next system, the next technology I want to talk to you about is snowpack proof. It's nothing more than the strategic arrangement of the pieces and each part of the binding, so the snow does not accumulate and stick at the top. In the end, we want to get to the gram. We have very lightweight bindings and equipment, but if snow keeps sticking to our gear, it ends up adding weight. So this system and this carefully arranged setup prevent that, and also it doesn't allow snow to stick or ice to form even underneath the binding. This happens when there is an issue where ice forms inside the binding and prevents it from functioning properly. And either it won't come off your foot, or on the contrary, there's no way, for example, for it to get stuck. all that is solved with this new technology. Back to the heel piece. Now let's talk about the cam release system. And this system looks for what the rolling system was already seeking, to facilitate the entry of the boot and also to reduce wear, and therefore extend the durability of the binding. In this case, those rotating steel bolts won't solve it, but it has small rails that allow a bit of flexibility and make it easier to get the boot on, plus it adjusts to the forces we use when skiing. So this area does not have too much tension again. It can adapt better to the forces we exert. This is very interesting since it reduces boot twisting and our gear suffers much less. Additionally, it's a much safer system in case of a fall because of the lateral release. It's much easier exactly according to the setting we've applied to the binding. And just like with the rolling system, this makes it so that without having to stomp hard, the boot locks in very easily. So, in soft snow, no more stomping until the heel finally sinks in. It's an easy step in any kind of snow, and talking about that intention and those efforts we have to make, we move on to the next pattern. In this case, it goes on the toe, and it is the uphill harness variator, which allows us, as the name suggests, vary the force we need to apply to lock the boot for the ascent. We know that the boot, we press, the binding locks, and then we have to do a final move to lift it. Well, we can adjust the force we need to apply and the force with which the binding closes. With a small screw and a notch on the tip, we have 3 positions: soft, medium, and hard. With this, we not only make it much more personalized, fit for the user, but we can also adjust it based on the wear of the binding itself and including the changes that have occurred at the dock over time. We can gradually increase that pressure. Even if the spring wears out, it allows us to keep tightening it and maintain a perfect hold with usage. In the back, and something I love because it's so comfortable and soft, the Alpha has magneto heel flaps technology, which is just that. They are magnetized, so when hitting it with the pole, it's much easier since it gives a little bit of flexibility and you can instantly set it to the position you want. As it goes up, the fact that it's magnetic prevents the one that keeps making those annoying little taps during the ride-off. Since it is magnetized, there is a force there that prevents it from lifting up, and it makes it much more useful. Another system that I definitely had to talk to you about, and this one, if I'm not mistaken, all ATK Bindings. It includes the easy entry system that seeks to make that ordeal of putting the boot into the front tip in these tiny inserts. It becomes much easier. It solves it simply by arranging the parts in such a way that the boot, when positioning it, touch, in this case with this cam, and also with the lower part of the boot, with this little bump, and makes it so that just by bumping into the binding, the boot gets into the perfect position, with just a little pressure, get in and stay fixed. And I just realized there is an extra system, a new pattern that is not shown in this clamp and wasn't in the Revolution either. I'll show you right now. But only if you subscribe to this channel. This latest pattern, as you can see, is a brake mounted on the front part of the binding instead of the back. And the advantage of it being here is that it does it automatically. We don't have to worry about an extra action, but we simply have our foot on the ground, the brake is engaged. When we put the boot in and we lock the toe because we're going up, The brake automatically locks and we are ready to go. We go up, and when we need to go down, simply lower it by placing the front tip in the descending position. So the brake is now active, and in case of a fall, it activates and jumps, thus stopping our ski. That's all I wanted to share with you. I hope this video was useful, especially for the curious ones. I'm leaving another video here that I'm sure you'll like. Leave me a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more ski mountaineering videos. A big hug, goodbye.